I think we've seen for over 25 years through closer and closer trade that we had a developing relationship with Russia. We actually privileged Russia in many ways over the other eastern neighbors that the EU has. To give you a very simple example, we held EU-Russia summits twice a year. We are holding EU Eastern Partnership summits. So with countries like Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, we are holding them once in 2 years. So clearly there is a hope that we had that through moving closer with Russia, developing trade, energy ties, including Russia in also Western organizations. Mind you, we have a special NATO-Russia Council that was to address difficult questions. Nonetheless, despite this very forthcoming treatment that we extended to Russia, to include them as much as possible in international structures and trade schemes, we were not spared a Russian war in Eastern Europe. I think there are limits to what soft power, inclusion, cooperation can achieve. And unfortunately, it is the Ukrainians that had to learn that lesson again in the last years. So I don't think we can rely on that. Nobody says that we should exclude Russia from any international system, cooperation. On the contrary, I think the steps that the European Union, also NATO, the international community broadly have taken in response to the aggression in Ukraine were relatively timid. They weren't particularly damaging to Russia. We haven't cut any energy ties, knowing full well that this is the main source of revenues of the Kremlin. So I think we have been relatively soft, actually, in our response because we didn't want to make matters worse. Nonetheless, they have gotten worse. And I do think that we need to prepare, perhaps, for even more aggression, whether in the classical military sense or whether in the hybrid sense of Russian interference through social media, through political parties, in electoral processes, in the internal decision-making of our countries, as we also had to learn, especially, for instance, in the case of the US presidential elections.